Welcome back, everyone, to the weekly standings and predictions. Mm, Things have been rather interesting. And let's start with the MLS. The New York Red Bulls are officially in the playoffs. Um, they're currently third in the standings with 50 points, behind Montreal with 59 and Philadelphia with 64. In the eliminated, DC has been down there for a while, but Toronto and Chicago have officially joined them. Mm, And now we go over to the Western Conference. LAFC are in the playoffs and have clinched a spot in the top four for, with 64 points, followed by Austin as the runner up in the playoffs at 55 points, and Dallas made it in. They're currently third with 50. The San Jose, Houston, and Kansas City are all eliminated in terms of where we're at. I will provide you with the updated standing count next week. For now, we head over to baseball, where we have some changes. The Houston Astros are officially in the playoffs. They are 96 and 51, and in the National League, the Dodgers have officially clinched the NL West at 101 and 44. However, we also need to go over our eliminated teams. Since last time, the Detroit Tigers, the Kansas City Royals, and the Texas Rangers have all been eliminated. Angels can be eliminated tonight as of this video. So, and joining the Nationals on this front are the Pirates, the Reds, the Marlins, the Cubs, and as of recent, even though it's not updated, also the Rockies have been eliminated as well. So things are starting to come along on those fronts. And now we need to talk about the NFL. Oh boy, there have been some wild ones this week. I've been doing pretty well in the standings, means- though I'm still not that great at predicting them all. Chiefs did win their Thursday night game. Giants won on a close match. Same with the Patriots. Buccaneers had a meeting on midfield and ended up winning anyways. And the Browns blew a lead to the Jets and the Jets won. The Ravens blew a lead to the Dolphins and the Dolphins ended up outscoring the Ravens in the second half 28-3 the- for a 42-38 victory. The Jaguars shut out the Colts, making them 7-0 at home against them. The Lions held on to win. Trey Lance got hurt, so it's the Jimmy G show now. They beat the Seahawks. The Rams almost blew a 28-3 lead, but held on 31-27. Nathaniel Hackett still don't know how to coach, but the Broncos won 16-9. We had an overtime comeback where the Cardinals won 29-23. Cowboys scored a game-winning field goal, and the Packers were, well, they beat the Bears. So a lot has happened. I still think the Bills and Eagles are going to win their respective games for Monday Night Football. So let's start looking over to week 3 of the NFL season. The Steelers versus the Browns for Thursday Night Football. So this one could go either way. I feel like I'm not sure if there'll be a tie or not. I don't think there will be. I think the Steelers are gonna uh, take this one. They're both gonna play down to each other's competition, but the Steelers have a better defense overall. If I'm being honest myself, they managed to do pretty well, even though T.J. Watt's out. Um, So let's move on to our Sunday batch, starting with the 1 o'clock games on CBS. We got the Chiefs versus the Colts. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs, starting out 3-0 for the year. The Colts looked bad against Jacksonville. Granted, it was at TIAA Bank Field, but they still looked bad. And I like the Chiefs more favorably. The Colts are gonna struggle, well, for sure. The Texans versus the Bears. I Another toughie because the Bears they did a little bit better than they used to, but still bad. And the Texans, well, they're the Texans. I think I'm gonna make this my tie of the week. E- I don't see either of these. They're too close to call. Both still need some time. Lovey Smith is finally getting his revenge match, and things just aren't looking right. And we got the Bengals versus the Jets. It's, so this one's gonna be interesting, because at home against the Bengals, Bulls against another AFC North team, third week in a row, and the Bengals are back to having no offensive line. I'm actually, I'm actually gonna take the Jets in this situation, and believe it or not, they've shown a lot of promise. I think they won up the Bengals. Bills versus Dolphins. I'm actually gonna take the Buffalo Bills. They're the overall better team, and the Bills have also been known for beating up the Dolphins, and so they got that going for them. Um, Now, Fox games over on the early stretch. I think the Panthers are gonna finally get their first win of the season and against the Saints. It is at home. And the Saints did not look that great. A famous Jameis decided to reopen his bakery. And if Matt Rule can Ben McAdoo can stop with how they've been playing in terms of calls, things should be good. But we got the Raiders versus the Titans. This is gonna be an interesting match. I'm gonna go with the Raiders in this situation in here. Yes, they're 0-2 to start, but so far they've looked like the better team overall as compared to the Titans. And they just gotta hope they don't fall apart again. And we got the Eagles versus the Commanders. There's another NFC West. As much as I want to pick the the Commanders have also been pretty decent. But given how we're playing at FedEx Field, because I hate Dan Snyder, I'm gonna give this one to my Eagles just because of that factor. It's just not great. Lions versus the Vikings. Means the Lions were the shocker. They managed to take the lead and still hold firm despite allowing points in the fourth quarter. I'm actually gonna take the Kevin O'Connell squad. It's at home against Minnesota. For so the Vikings are gonna have that home field advantage, and it's gonna be hard for the Lions to actually win. And it's like a recurring theme. Ravens versus the Patriots to wrap up the 1 o'clock Fox games. Patriots have won at the last game or two in the series. But they got Matt Patricia leading the offense, and they got uh, Joe Judge. So there's going to be some obvious issues there. So I'm going to take the Ravens in this matchup, since they're the better coached team with the better staff, so to speak. We only got one game in the CBS late stretch. Jaguars versus Chargers. I'm going to take the Chargers in this situation. And you're playing in Los Angeles. Listen, this ain't the Indianapolis Colts. You're actually dealing with Brandon Staley. The Chargers have won the last time they were up against the Jaguars. I think last time was like 2019, maybe? Or was it 2020? I don't know. But either way, I think the Chargers are going to pull this one out just because. 425 on Fox. Packers versus Bucks. So I'm gonna take the Buccaneers in this one because Tom Brady has been known for beating Aaron Rodgers first as of late. They won the NFC Championship game. I think they're gonna win again home in Tampa at Raymond James Stadium. I think they're gonna get this one. Rams versus Cardinals. This one's gonna be a toughie. E. I'm gonna actually take the Rams in this one. They've been pretty good against Cliff Kingsbury because Texas Tech means nothing in the NFL level. Oh, they're the better coach team. Only problem is that those interceptions could possibly cost them. Matthew Stafford does need to rally his team to victory however they can. Falcons versus Seahawks. Here we have a tank bowl. Oh, cue the music, guys. Nice. The Falcons almost came back. The Seahawks looked kind of bad. I should have used my tie of the week on this one, but does it matter at this point? They both kind of suck. I think I'm gonna give this one to Pete Carroll and the Seahawks. Also, mainly due to how well they managed to upset at the Broncos back on Monday Night Football. Oh, plus they're playing at Lumen Field, so it's gonna be tough for the Falcons to play. That's another factor that goes into this. And now our Sunday night primetime game on NBC, Niners versus Broncos. It's gonna be pretty good. Russell Wilson's playing against one of his old rivals. Well, I don't remember the last time he won or lost. Probably lost last season near the end. But I need to pick one team to win this thing. I think the 49ers are going to take this one. Nathaniel Hackett needs to develop as a head coach if he's not going to run into the same pitfalls he ran into these first 2 weeks. And our Monday night game is the Cowboys versus the Giants. I'm going to pick the Cowboys in this one. Despite the impressive 2-0 start, the Giants still have Daniel Jones. The Cowboys still have plenty of talent on their roster. Sure, I know Dak Prescott's out, but they played well with Cooper Rush. But let's be honest. Is Plus this is in prime time. The Cowboys probably gonna win in prime time. like they usually do, with the exception of week 1, but we don't talk about that. Now, I say that the Cowboys are gonna win this game. This is a divisional match, which means they could take hold of the division next week for week 3 of the NFL season. And those are gonna be my picks. I'll just need to make sure to take note of them post recording to see how many I get right, how many I get wrong. On I've never asked this before, but now I'm gonna start doing so. Who do you think is gonna win each of these games in week 3? Be sure to let me know in the comments. And you're more than welcome to use a tie of the week if you so wish. Maybe there's a game that is more deserving of being the tie of the week. E- Maybe the Texans are actually gonna win this one, or maybe Carolina, New Orleans is gonna end in a tie. Or maybe you're taking the Jags over the Chargers. There's there's plenty of possibilities. Anything can happen. But one thing I'm noticing based on my predictions, the leader of the division and for these predictions has a losing record in the AFC South. That's something. But for now, thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all next week, unless something else comes up.